Thinking about moving to Porter Ranch and want a home that checks every single box, including a gorgeous pool, 5 bedrooms, and even a private attached guest unit? Then don't scroll past this one. In today's Porter Ranch home tour, we're showing you a rare opportunity, over 2,800 square feet of beautifully updated living space, a stunning remodeled kitchen, and a backyard that feels like your own personal resort. Whether you've been searching for a multi-generational layout, income potential, or just want to enjoy SoCal living at its best, this Porter Ranch home for sale is something you need to see. Let's start this Los Angeles home tour. So today we're excited to showcase to you our newest listing in Porter Ranch. This home behind me, it's a gorgeous home. This one is 5 bedrooms and possibly, depending on how you configure it, to 6 bedrooms. And we're gonna show you all of that today in today's video. Originally 2,552 square feet of living space. The guest unit, which is 260 square feet, that brings you up to over 2,800 square feet of living space. We're gonna go into much more detail about that later on in this video. And then of course, this home, over 9,100 square foot lot, built in 1977. So before we actually start the home tour itself, where are we? So again, we're in Porter Ranch, California. We're located north of Rinaldi Street, in between Reseda and Wilbur Avenue, again, north of Rinaldi Street. So there's so much that Porter Ranch has to offer if you're not familiar with it. And one of the best things about Porter Ranch is the access to local hiking trails. One of my favorite trails is the Porter Ranch Palisades Trail. Now to experience this, this is a 3.6 mile out and back trail here in Porter Ranch, right here against the bluffs north of Rinaldi. If you like parks, here in Porter Ranch, you have several to choose from. And one of my personal favorites is the Porter Ranch Community Park. The Jane and Burt Bachman Park, which was open in 2024, over 50 acres of space, an enormous playground, pickleball courts, basketball courts, and even outdoor ping pong tables. If you're looking for fine dining close by here in Porter Ranch, you have to stop by the Vineyard Shopping Center. Great restaurants such as La Popular, Lure Fish House, Gus's Barbecue, just to name a few. And of course, you got the AMC movie theater as well as Whole Foods. And then right across from that, you have the Porter Ranch Farmers Market, open every Sunday morning, an opportunity for you to pick up all your fresh produce, as well as doing shopping for crafts and some great food bites for the week. Looking at the exterior as we're in the front of the house, like we always like to begin our home tours, let's take a look at a few things. First, you have the freshly painted exterior of the home, right? Now you have 3 bays. Now typically on these S&S homes that were built in the late 70s and early 1980s, usually you have 1 bay that holds 2 vehicles, and then you have that smaller bay. So here, right, only the left bay is actually operational, and then the other 2 have become part of the guest unit, which we are going to show you later in this video. But wanted to show you the curb appeal. This is a wonderful street to be living on here in Porter Ranch, north of Rinaldi, if that's the neighborhood that you're looking to be in. And then of course, look, you have this brick walkway up to your double door entry, which will take us through to the interior of the home. Coming through the aforementioned double door entry into this home. So again, this house was originally 5 bedrooms. It's currently situated as 5 bedrooms, but we're gonna show you how you could possibly make it to 6 bedrooms if you actually wanted to or needed to. All right, so right now we're in the living room space. So this is the room that you enter into. Take a look and take note of the soaring cathedral ceilings right here. So tons of recessed lighting, and also of course, because you have this window here facing on the south side of the home, allows all the natural light to come into this house. And now I want you to take note here of the flooring that you're going to see throughout the downstairs of this house. So, you know, sometimes people put in laminate, they put in that luxury vinyl plank flooring, but here they went with engineered wood. So that's obviously a bigger upgrade than you would see from your LVP or a laminate, although sometimes a lot of them look very similar to engineered wood. So this is a very fine quality engineered wood flooring. So this is your living room space. So now we're going to go down these steps into this large, great room. Now, if you've ever seen this model before, and we've sold a few over the years here in Porter Ranch, this model by S&S Homes, a lot of this was actually kind of broken up. It was not open, the original floor plan, right? So to be able to have it open, it just really changes the dynamics of how this house feels and what it looks like when you walk in. So again, you have your recessed lighting here in your formal dining area, and that's right off your kitchen. Now there's a lot to discuss about when it comes to this kitchen. You're seeing a lot of this now in new construction and remodeled homes, where you see people generally getting away from white cabinetry unless they have the two-tone. And that's what you have here. You have the gray cabinetry on your island in this kitchen, and then you have the white cabinetry right over here across the way from it. So plenty of cabinetry to be able to store everything you need in this kitchen. We're going to take a look now at the color scheme, and this is something that I really like to do because you have this brown flooring that has a little bit of the grayish hue in it, right? And so that contrasts perfectly with the color that you have on your island here in the kitchen. And then if you look at the quartz countertop itself, right, not a lot of color in it, very simple gray veins, right, goes perfectly with the flooring, the stainless steel cabinetry, as well as the color that you actually have here on that two-tone we were talking about on the island. And then of course, right over here, you're gonna have this beautiful tile backsplash, right, that has a little bit of gray and silver into as well as white to complement what you are actually going to have on your quartz countertop. So this is again a great example of how you can do things really tastefully with not adding so much color that it's really kind of overwhelming, right, to the eyes and to the senses. And so to me, I think this really kind of fits how the house was meant to be and how it should look, to kind of have a modern color scheme, being able to do it in a tasteful manner. So many times in new construction, you will find that there will be a room in between the kitchen and maybe the family room or the living room to be able to delineate that actual space. And that's no different here. Now, the original floor plan was much more closed, and since it's been opened up, as a result, where they have this eat-in area is perfect. So now you have the opportunity to use that breakfast bar at the island counter, but maybe you want something slightly more formal or a better place to be able to sit down, right? Like my kids make a mess sometimes when they eat breakfast in the morning. So if you want something a little more formal, but you don't quite need like a formal dining space right here off the kitchen, this is it. And the fact that they used a circular table is even better because you don't want something that's too big, and then if you have something that's really huge, one, it's just gonna make it look overcrowded and overwhelming. And so to have something like this that's circular, it really fits perfectly into this spot. So that opens to the adjacent family room. So with your family room, you have your gas fireplace, you have that granite surround right there around your fireplace. And I like the mantle and the shelving to be able to store books, but at the same time being able to accommodate your big screen TV down here. You have your recessed lighting above. Now, this is something that you're seeing right now, and especially in a lot of the luxury houses, is, you know, many times you'll see homes where they just have that all white walls, but I think what you're seeing right now is a lot of times you'll see at least one wall have a different color. In here, they have that gray, right? They have the gray with the ultra white on the baseboards, and the baseboards and the mantle actually really stick out. But if you go back to the kitchen, right, that you have that gray there along the fireplace, and it's very similar gray to the gray that they have right there on your island counter. and see, like, that's how you're able to have everything flow seamlessly when it comes to how you choose your colors and how you're able to appropriate them. Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group. And like I always say, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch another one of our home tours. You guys have been great. There have been so many people like yourself, buyers and sellers and investors, reaching out to us. They've been watching our videos, whether it just be questions they've had about transactions that they're in or about buying or selling homes here in Southern California. So if you're looking to buy a home here in Southern California, definitely feel free to contact us. Maybe you're struggling to get your offer accepted. Maybe you're having a hard time understanding what's actually taking place in the market right now, because there's some neighborhoods that are seeing multiple offers. There are other neighborhoods, well, okay, well, maybe the prices are softening a bit, and then that actually could be happening in the same neighborhood, right? Where some homes are not priced right, some are, and it's kind of really hard to differentiate between the two. And so right now we're really seeing with our buyers right now that being able to work with sellers and how they're able to get their offers accepted. Now, if you're looking to sell a home, right, there's a lot of things that we've been offering right now, because it's really important as you've seen more inventory hit the market. If your home doesn't look the best, right, it's a good chance that you're going to be sitting on the market longer. So for something like this house here, right, we had our complimentary staging program. Our sellers took advantage of that, along with free boxes, right, just to name a few. And as a result of that, right, we want to make sure that our sellers look better than anybody else online when it comes to the property that they're selling. And that's definitely the case here. So it's really important that if you're selling a home, that your agent comes up with a detailed plan. And a lot of it's the prep work before you even hit the market, right? 90% of the work for the seller is really before they hit the market. So making sure that house looks really pristine. Maybe you have to fix a few small things here and there, but a lot of it is things that we can help with. Sometimes it's through our Concierge Plus program, where we front the money and then you actually have to reimburse through the close of escrow through your net proceeds, but no upfront closing costs. And we've closed a few recently where one was $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, right? And the sellers, as a result of that, were all able to sell within a week. So it's really important that your home looks better than anybody else. Any questions about that? Feel free to reach out. Now let's get back to the home tour. Now we're gonna head upstairs, but while we do that, wanted to talk to you about schools. Schools are a really big thing, especially if you're moving here to Porter Ranch. So if that's something that you care about, I think you're gonna be really happy with the boundaries that this home falls into. And those include Castle Bay Lane Elementary School here in Porter Ranch, rated 9 out of 10. Robert Frost Middle School in Granada Hills, that one is rated 10 out of 10. And then of course the award-winning Granada Hills Charter High School. This home has so many features that we haven't even discussed yet, right? Obviously, you've already seen the remodeled first floor, right? How they've opened it up, the new cabinets, appliances, etc. But did you know there's a separate electrical meter for building and irrigation? They have a Moen automatically shut-off valve for the whole house, which obviously is going to help you reduce your homeowner's insurance cost. A newer 200 amp electrical panel. They have 2 AC units, one for upstairs, another one for downstairs, 2 tankless hot water units, right? And of course, they have a Tesla solar panel system that has a 25-year warranty for that solar system, and the roof is also by Tesla. In addition to that, they have more, right? They actually have solar lighting for the backyard, and we'll get into more into the backyard itself when we get to that point of the video. Entering the primary bedroom with your attached private bathroom, we're going to show you the bathroom momentarily. Look above, you're going to see the recessed lighting and your cathedral and vaulted ceilings. You have your mirrored closet, dual pane windows, a lovely view into the backyard. Now over to your right is what I wanted to show you upstairs in this room. And that's because this is your enormous walk-in closet. This walk-in closet is huge, and that's because they converted one of the smaller bedrooms into this walk-in closet to be part of the primary bedroom. Now for me personally, I like this a lot. A lot of the homes built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in Porter Ranch had a lot of smaller bedrooms. And so the fact that you were able to use this, especially if you didn't have a walk-in closet beforehand, now you have it. And then again, not everybody needs that really small bedroom. I get it if you have smaller kids. Maybe in that case, you probably really do need it. But I'd say most people are probably gonna opt for and be happier with and more content having this extra space for storage. But I'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments below. So as a result, if you actually had this and converted it back into a bedroom, you would have your 5-bedroom space here in this home. And then of course, with that attached guest unit, which we're gonna show you a little later in this video, you're gonna be able to get to 6 bedrooms. All right, so let's make our way over to the primary bathroom. So the primary bathroom has an upgraded tile. You got your dual sink, a vanity here with your granite countertop, right? And then notice how there's brown and some hints of gray, darker colors in the tile itself to complement the color of the cabinetry as well as the granite countertop itself. You have a shower in tub right here over to your right. Stepping outside into this magnificent backyard, this is what Porter Ranch living is all about. Seriously, right? So let's start where we're standing right now. Of course, you have this trellis right here giving you tons of shade, and it goes literally from side to side. Look how large this trellis is. And you know, a lot of times when you see these trellises built here in the backyard, they're very shoddy quality. They don't look great at all. But this one, like, definitely gives some character to the backyard. So let's move on over here to the swimming pool itself. You have this pebble-bottom pool. No need to worry about replastering a pool, which could easily run you about $8,500 for sure to be able to replaster a pool. So you got your pool, you got your spa, right? You got your newer tile on this pool, newer pool decking. You know, how many times have you seen all that cracking and issues with the pool decking and you're worried about different issues that may be arising, right? You don't have that here. And so look at the sparkling pool. This is where you're going to be doing all of your entertaining, especially if you have kids. And then, you know, you want to keep the price of your landscaping down, right? So they have the artificial turf, which is great, right? So you don't have to worry about everything that comes along with the grass. And yet at the same time, look at all the vegetation that they have here in this backyard. How beautiful are all the flowers and greenery that you see here. And it truly does feel like a resort when you're in this backyard. So this is where you're going to be spending all of your summer months, right here in this backyard. When it comes to Southern California living, you want to have that extension right where the interior space becomes the exterior space, right? And they kind of blend together. And that's what you have here. And then of course, look at this entertaining area right here. You're going to be able to have a gas grill, right? Pull up a beer here with some friends and family, right? Where you're grilling outside in these warm summer months. And if you're like me, you're grilling year round. And so this is the place, right? This is the place to kind of be able to have everybody over, right? Or entertain with your friends and family. And you always hear, you know, everybody talk about an entertainer's backyard. But this is truly it. And if you really want to have an entertainer's backyard, this is going to be the backyard for you. Now we're ready to enter into this accessory dwelling unit. So eventually, right, you could be able to rent it out, right? Maybe you want to have some in-laws, maybe you have a teenage child that you want to have here, maybe a kid coming back from college, right? And you can access the main house right now, how it's situated, through the garage where you can park right now 1 car. Originally a 3-car garage, now it's become a 1-car garage. But again, right, this is a self-sustaining, self-containing unit right here that's 260 square feet. So Once permitted, right, maybe you want to rent it out for some extra income, or maybe you decide again you want to have somebody living in your family in this space. So you got a kitchenette, microwave, and you even have an attached bathroom. So what do you think of this Porter Ranch pool home? 5 bedrooms, possibility that's 6 bedroom once it's permitted, right? And over 2,800 square feet of living space, and in an incredible backyard that you have to see for yourself. Well, again, like we talked about earlier, if you're looking to buy a home here in Southern California, in the greater Los Angeles area, definitely reach out. We have a lot of options and programs to help you walk you through the process. I think the biggest thing that we find, especially with first-time home buyers, which make up about 30% of the market right now, is that a lot of buyers want that hand-holding experience, right? Basically, that's like that concierge white glove experience, just because they've never done it before and it's the biggest purchase in their entire lives. And so they want someone to kind of be there every step of the way, so they're not trying to overthink about it, as well as, you know, you don't want to be waking up at 3 a.m. worrying about something once you're in escrow. And I think that's something that's really been reflected in the fact that we have over 200 5-star reviews online, is how we communicate with our clients, how we work with our clients, and really at the end of the day, how so many of our clients and all of our clients really just become part of our family. And then, you know, if you're selling a home too, especially in today's market, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think like something that we really enjoy doing is being able to educate our sellers and put a plan in place, because selling a home in today's market, you know, can be overwhelming and exhausting. And I think what we find after talking to our sellers is, hey, like, this is the plan we're going to put for you. And every seller is going to have a different plan that we're going to implement and put together. And so what may work for one may not work for the other. And so it's really important that we craft a really specific plan for your timeline, what you're looking to do, right? Because maybe you're to move down the street. Some sellers are looking to move out of state. Maybe you need an agent to help you outside in another state right here, not just California. We've done that so many times over the years. So if you need a recommendation for a real estate agent out of state or another part of California, reach out to us. We work with some amazing agents throughout the country. So any questions like these, definitely feel free to reach out. Hope you enjoyed this home tour. I'm Scott Himelstein with the Scott Himelstein Group.